You know, your garden soil isn't merely inactive during those slow growth periods, it's genuinely struggling at a biological level. It's starved of the microbial activity and mineral availability that separates thriving ecosystems from barely functional dirt. I watch my own beds limp through seasons despite regular composting and fertilizing until I discovered a 3-ingredient solution. It was so simple, it seemed almost too basic to work. This charcoal, manure, and water elixir transformed soil I'd considered decent into a biological powerhouse that produced plants I barely recognized as the same varieties I'd been growing for years. The secret lies not in any single ingredient, but in how these 3 components work synergistically to jumpstart dormant soil biology while simultaneously providing both immediate and long-term fertility. Let me show you exactly how to create and use this revitalizing elixir that's changed everything about how I approach soil health. The 3-component synergy explained activated charcoal or crushed biochar serves as the foundation of this elixir, providing the porous carbon structure that becomes home to billions of beneficial microorganisms. The surface area within quality charcoal is genuinely staggering. A single tablespoon contains enough internal pore space to equal several football fields if you could unfold and flatten it all. These pores create protected microhabitats where bacteria and fungi can establish colonies away from predators and environmental extremes. When you add charcoal to water, it begins absorbing dissolved minerals and compounds immediately, essentially pre-charging itself with whatever nutrients are present in the solution. This absorption capacity means charcoal doesn't just carry microbes to your soil, it carries a concentrated payload of dissolved nutrients that release slowly as the charcoal settles into the soil matrix. Fresh or well-aged manure contributes the biological inoculant and nutrient base that brings this elixir to life. You know, manure is far more than just nitrogen and organic matter. It's actually a complete package of beneficial bacteria, enzymes, hormones, and trace elements that plants and soil organisms really need but, honestly, rarely receive in sufficient quantities from conventional fertilizers. The bacteria in manure are already adapted to working in soil environments because, well, they evolved in the digestive systems of herbivores processing plant material. When these bacteria enter soil via the elixir, they immediately begin colonizing the charcoal's porous structure while also interacting with existing soil microbes. The enzymes in manure start breaking down organic compounds in the soil, making nutrients available that were previously locked up in forms plants just couldn't access. Growth hormones and humic substances in aged manure stimulate root development and improve nutrient uptake, efficiency, at the cellular level. Water serves as more than just a carrier medium. It's the activator that initiates the biological and chemical reactions that make this elixir work. When you mix charcoal and manure with water, you create a living soup where nutrients dissolve, microbes activate and begin reproducing, and the charcoal's pores fill with this enriched solution. The water also serves as the delivery mechanism that ensures even distribution throughout your soil. As the elixir soaks into the ground, it carries its cargo of microbes, nutrients, and charged charcoal particles deep into the root zone, where they can begin working immediately. The moisture, itself, triggers dormant soil biology to activate, creating a cascade of biological activity that builds on itself as different organisms wake up and start interacting. The key to effective elixir preparation lies in using the right ratios and following a specific sequence that maximizes the synergistic effects. Start with 1 gallon of dechlorinated water. Let tap water sit out overnight or use rainwater or well water to avoid chlorine that would kill the beneficial bacteria you're trying to cultivate. Add 2 cups of crushed activated charcoal or finely ground biochar to this water, stirring vigorously to suspend the particles. The water will turn black and opaque as the charcoal disperses. Let this charcoal water sit for at least 30 minutes while stirring occasionally, giving the charcoal time to absorb water into its pores and begin hydrating fully. While your charcoal water rests, prepare your manure component. Fresh manure works, but aged manure that's been composting for at least 3 months delivers better results because the aging process has already broken down complex compounds and concentrated beneficial microbes. Take 2 cups of this aged manure and mix it thoroughly with 1 cup of water in a separate container, breaking up any clumps and creating a smooth slurry. This dilution ensures the manure will mix evenly with your charcoal water rather than forming concentrated pockets. If you only have access to dried manure, rehydrate it thoroughly first, using equal parts dried manure and water, and let it soak for several hours before proceeding. Alright, so now you'll want to combine your charcoal water and manure slurry in a 5-gallon bucket, making sure to stir continuously as you pour them together. The mixture should end up with the consistency of thin chocolate milk, pourable, but you can tell there are suspended solids in there. If you notice it's too thick, just add water, a cup at a time, until you get the right consistency. And if it turns out too thin, simply add more charcoal or manure, a little at a time. Once you've got everything combined, go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses. This will feed the beneficial bacteria and really help kickstart their reproduction. Give this final mixture a thorough stir, and then let it sit for about 24 to 48 hours before you use it, making sure to stir once or twice each day. During this brewing period, bacterial populations explode, the charcoal becomes fully charged with nutrients, and the entire mixture transforms into a biologically active elixir that's ready to revolutionize your soil. The most effective application method depends on your current soil condition and what you're trying to achieve. For severely depleted or compacted soil that's showing minimal biological activity, direct soil drenching delivers the fastest results. Apply your elixir at full strength, using approximately 1 gallon of elixir per 10 square feet of garden bed. Water it in slowly, allowing the liquid to penetrate deeply rather than running off the surface. The goal is saturating the top 6 to 8 inches of soil where most root activity occurs. You'll notice the soil darkening as the charcoal settles in, and if you dig down a few inches the next day, you can actually see and smell the difference. The soil looks richer and has that distinctive earthy, alive smell that healthy soil produces. Your soil revitalization journey starts with mixing your first batch of this simple but transformative elixir. The ingredients are accessible and affordable, the process is straightforward, and the results will change how you think about soil fertility and plant health. If you're ready to wake up dormant soil and see your garden reach its true potential, subscribe to the Living Soil Lab, where we explore practical techniques that deliver measurable results. Share this method with fellow gardeners who understand that thriving plants start with living soil, and let's build a community of growers who know that sometimes the most powerful solutions are also the simplest. Here's to soil that comes alive, and gardens that thrive beyond expectations.